Hey there, it's Laurel with the Dabbling Hook, and it is still the 13th. 13th? Yeah. I'm saying still because I recorded my seasonal yarny YouTube hop today, and this is later in the day. So, in an effort to try to get back into doing videos a little more regularly, I'm trying to take a lesson from the vloggy style stuff I was trying to do, and instead of trying to amass everything and doing one video, I'm just going to try to video as I go in short bursts, or at least now show you some of the things I've been working on, because they're all over the place. See that? And some of them I put away and then I'm gonna have to take back out to show you. So it said that life was lifing. It is just, like I said, nothing bad, just stuff, just life. And even though I'm still crocheting and knitting, I'm still doing that. Stuff is, you know, yarn is all right there, you can't see. But yeah, I've been feeling like, yeah, I don't really have anything to contribute. Yeah, I'm crocheting and knitting. I'm still posting on Instagram, not as often as I used to, but it just, do I still want to do this? Does anybody care? And I know you guys who are watching, who keep coming back, I thank you, and I know you do care, but sometimes you get into that rut and you're like, do I still want to do this? So that's where I am right now. So I'm trying to get myself out of that because, like I mentioned before, menopause is just kicking my ass. I know a lot of people have suggested things to take, but I can't because I've got one kidney, and I try not to take stuff that I don't know, that my doctor hasn't recommended or anything like that. So I'm just grinning and bearing it, and it's hard. Plus, you know, it's added to my girth, and it just makes me so tired. So I'm trying to get out of my rut is what I'm trying to say. So we'll see how it goes. Having said all that, I am going to try to find the things that I've been working on. The things that are around will be the most recent stuff, so I'm going to start there. I'm going to have to go back over there. I have my phone to try to remember, because I try to take pictures of everything, and I just realized going back through, I'm looking at some pictures I took in December when I have the, what is it, Raynaud's, where you lose the color in your fingers when it's cold, and I just scrolled to some pictures where it's, maybe I'll put it up. Anyway, it goes back to December, well, after my November craft fairs and on, and I have no idea how far back I'll be able to go, and things will be pictures, but we'll see. But where shall we start? Some of the most recent. Hang on. I am so discombobulated because there's just stuff everywhere. I clean a little, then I add more to it. I clean a little, add more to it. But anyway, one of the most recent things that I finished was leftover yarn from, I'm doing, oh, I should mention that I'm doing the Make 9 again. Last year I did it with all Amigurumis from the Amigurumi books with Kim, the Crafty Nomad. Hey Kim. And I decided to do it again because I've got thousands of patterns in my Ravelry library. A few of them purchased, but a lot of them, you know, free patterns or patterns that I just want to try. And I just keep adding, and I'm never going to get to it. So I decided to do my Make 9. I was going to do Amigurumis again. So now I have two Make 9 grids. One is of Amigurumis, and both, one is Amigurumi, one is for shawls. Both are either patterns that I've had in my library that I've wanted to try, or patterns that I've purchased and haven't done yet. So with the Amigurumis, most of them are the most recent ones that I purchased. I was enabled, I think, by Kim, again, of the Crafty Nomad, when somebody was having a sale on Etsy, and I went and bought like almost $20 worth of patterns. The sales were like for $1 something for the patterns, so you couldn't resist. And then some shawls that I've either wanted to try, and I think 2 or 3 of them, at least 2 of them that I purchased that I hadn't done. So I've actually already done those, and at some other clip I will show you because I'm on a shawl kick still. But I did one of the shawls, and I did it in some Lion brand Anya yarn. It is a hand-dyed yarn. Whoops. It is a hand-dyed yarn that is discontinued. And when they were getting rid of them, I bought a bunch. You know, me and Clarence. I bought a bunch. So I'm finally using it up. So I used 3, 2.5 in a shawl, one of my Make 9s, and then I had some left, and I'm trying not to have, you know, I'm going to have leftovers of the acrylic and blends, super bulky and worsted stuff that I use for craft fairs. But when I use my hand-dyed, or what I call the fancy yarns, I'm trying not to have leftovers. So after I did that shawl, I had leftovers, and I'm looking, I think my neighbor, their new-ish neighbor, they've been there about a year, and she's riding a bike. I can't ride a bike. Have I mentioned that before? I can't ride a bike. I think I did that in a tag video once. I can't ride a bike. Anyway, different tangent. But anyway, all this to say, this is the yarn. This is 2 yarns. I think you can tell there's some orange in here. The 2 yarns are very similar. They're like hot pink yarns. Oh, I don't remember the name. Mango Tango is the one with the orange. And then the other one was, oh, is it the raspberry? No. I forget the name. Maybe I'll put it on. But I had that left, so I decided to use it all up and just knit a hat. It was just a basic hat, and I had a little bit of yarn left, and I was determined to use it all. I think I ended up with like this much yarn left when I was done. So I just did an I-cord at the top just to use up as much of the yarn as possible. So it's just a basic hat that I do. And that's that. And I may give that to one of my nieces. One of them I know will like yank it right off her head, but I think the other one, she'll wear it, because I had made them Christmas hats on the circular machine a couple years back, and she was still wearing hers because she's a petite little thing. So that was one. The other thing, the bandwagon with the in my previous video I showed triple strand yarns, the rectangular yarn hat that you sew that I was making, and then the scrap version of that became the thing that blew up. And I know Angie of Love and Ever Stitch, Ruby Baby, hey guys, she went on a tangent, and she's making hats and hoods and all kinds of stuff with it. But I'm like, oh, when I saw her video, I'm like, I've got all these scraps, and I didn't want to go pull skeins and put together, but I have bulky, super bulky scraps. So, and we have the same mannequin, by the way. She had it first, and I'm like, where did you get that? So I've had that for a while, but she enabled. So yeah, this was made out of most of my Thick and Quick scraps from craft fair season. I'm always left with like you know, balls about this big or what have you, so I just made one of those. So that's that. I'm not sure how I feel about the little tufts that are left. This one I made way too big, so I'm hoping like it'll be big, and I have a big noggin, so I'm hoping, you know, somebody's big head or somebody who likes a loose hat will like that. And I saw how much some of you are charging for these hats, and I'm gonna try, but I know around where I do the craft fairs, it's just, yeah, I'm slowly changing the craft fairs that I do to be more in line with what I want to charge, but still, people do bulk at the prices, and kudos to you for getting the prices that you do. So even though it's scraps, it takes a lot of time to do, because you have to piece it all together. Even though you're tying this together, the stops and starts and stops and starts, and having to put all that together. So these are all the Thick and Quick. Some of them have not that one. Did I put? There's one that has the sparkle in there. I think that's the Galaxy or the something or other. Maybe the black one's Galaxy. But anyway, the little nubs are where, you know, I ended up. There's no rhyme or reason to where they are. It's where I ended up tying them. So that's that. Came out a bit big. And then I used all my Hometown. Hometown is what I use for my 2-button cowls for the most part. So I made one out of that. And this is all the hometown colors. This is one of my favorite colors. When hometown never had this colorway. It's like a deep rust color. But AC Moore, their brand, it was called Heartfelt or something. They used to have this colorway, and I used to get it every chance I could. And now it's just this past season that hometown started selling this particular color. There's some sparkle in there. This Montpelier Peacock, I think, is this colorway. It's one of my, I like that one. And of course my mustardy golden one. This one has sparkle in there. Actually, some of these, they're not all hometown. They are the ones with the sparkle. This one and that one. That is Big Twist version of it, but it's basically the same yarn. But yeah, so that's all hometown. So this can be like the guy color, except sparkles. It'd have to be a open-minded guy who would wear that one. And I've had some of them pick some hats from me that you wouldn't typically think guys would wear. So, but this is more a woman's size. So that's that. And then this hat, I'm gonna have to look up the name, and I just dropped one. I made 3 of them, and it's a hat that I've had in my I'm gonna have to check up on her. She's riding here kind of suspiciously. Anyway, just me being the nosy neighbor. Oh, what is the name? I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up. It's gonna bug me. Okay, it's called the Amethyst Torque. No, Amethyst Wish Torque by Elizabeth Lubowitz. I saw somebody make it. I think it was Gary of Urban Yarn Gary, and somebody else had made it. And I went to save it in my library, and it turned out I'd already had it in my library, so I'd seen it somewhere else before that, long before that. But unless it's a very simple knit hat, I really haven't done a lot of knit hats. But I'm like, it's color work, and I'm into like the simple color work, and I wanted to try, and I love it. So the first one I did, I used, I think, the yarn size they call for, which was, let's see, was it, no, they used worsted. Malabrigo and Cascade. So they use worsted. So I did mine in worsted as well, but it was a light worsted. And I used Knit Picks, Muse hand painted, and what's the other one? Oh wow, I didn't put all the colorways in here. Oh wow, look at that. Oh no, I'm looking at a different one. Sorry. I made 3, like I said. So this one I made with all Knit Picks. This one is with Cascade yarns in silver gray. So this is the yarn. It's, you're not, every line, every row is a different color, I believe, if I remember correctly, or every 2 rows. I don't remember. It's been a while since I made these, but it's just, let me fold it in half, because this one came out big, and it looks, if when you look at the pattern and some of the other pictures in the pattern people have made it, it does look like it comes out pretty loose and pretty big, and I wasn't a fan of that. So this is folded in half. But look at that. This one I use, like I said, the Cascade 220 in silver gray, and then Queen's Yarn Boutique is Rochelle. Hey Rochelle, she also has a channel here on YouTube. Her sport yarn in what is a Kaleidoscope. So those are all, that's just all one color in there, and it's just, it's one of the, along with my Bricks and Hearts with that mosaic pattern, if you have like that one skein of yarn that you don't know what to do with, it's great to just use with a contrast color to get all the color feels that you need without a lot of work. And this is a pattern that would be great for that. So that's the Cascade, and the color is the Queen's Yarn Boutique. So, but this one came out way big, so if you are a loose hat wearer, it's it's definitely for you. But I'm a snug hat wearer, even though now things tight on my head make me very uncomfortable, gives me a headache, but I still like my snug hat. So this was the one that was done all with knit picks. Tonal, what was it called? I will tell you. And if you see me glistening, whew, I'm having a power surge, as Gigi says. So the Muse hand painted. So this is in Honor Tonal. It's a what was it called? What's the color that people used to do a lot? Like a semi-tonal, whatever it's called, semi-solid. But I really like it. It's just a black grayish tones down here, and then the color is Spontaneous Speckle is the other color of the same brand. The pattern calls for, see this part here where it's solid, it starts a little lower, but I didn't like that, so I wanted more color going up, so I worked it, I worked it so that the color goes up a little higher. So in doing this one, I went almost all the way to the top, and because of the way I was working the decrease, I had to do a couple rows in the black, so that's why you see the line here. The line of black looks more solid in person, but you could see there are two lines here. Those are like two lines where I did the decrease. But this one, I changed the starting cast on. I did not change the needle size, and once you do it the first time, you can kind of figure out what you want to do. And basically, I changed the cast on, and I changed the top to make it mine. All right. Ooh, I need to put, I'm not sure if I'm going to take these to my craft fairs. I might, because they're not your typical, big box store acrylic or acrylic blends. These are hand-dyed yarns. So again, pricing and everything, people aren't going to want it, or it would have to be that special person who, and I've had a few of those, who don't mind buying hand-dyed or natural fibers, and to be able to take care of it. So I may or may not bring it. And then of course, me, super bulky, it's where I am. It's my jam, so to speak. So I did it in super bulky, and this is thick and quick, and this is the Michael's Echo Color or something yarn. I'm not sure if they still carry it, but it's that yarn I used in my Bricks and Hearts when I was making it. That it's just full of color, and I love it. So this is the Sparkle Thick and Quick with that. So this one is definitely a craft fair one. I need to make a few more for the fall to have at least these, and then these will obviously be priced higher because they are hand dyed in natural fibers, but I like that. So hats. Oh, I did another hat. Hang on. Since I'm on hats, I did mannequins down. I started this during craft fair season in December, before my last couple of craft fairs, and I got so busy at work I never finished it. But it's my 2-button cowl, but I was using up stash, so I used 2 strands of a worsted weight yarn and a strand of latte, and I did my 2-button cowl, and then I trim it. I mentioned in my last video that I used the Gopher Fur to trim, so I started just changing up an already established pattern a little, just to give it a little oomph. And of course, latte gets them in and touching things with the fur and the latte. So I did that, and I had, again, trying to use up the yarns when I start a project. I had some more, so I did a knit hat. Now this is a pattern that I don't know if I will release or not, but I saw a pattern of how to create the brim so that it bends easy when you create it, but the pattern that they were doing had the same pattern going all the way through, and to me, when you turned the brim, it made it a little too bulky because of the pattern, so I changed mine to be more, to be flatter here, so that when you turn up the brim, it's more in line with the thickness of the overall hat. So hopefully I'll put a picture of what this looks like on the mannequin. Actually, I can do that now. So you get a fitted beanie when you turn the brim up, but you can also wear it regular and have, you know, a regular beanie with a little bit of slouch to it. So this is something I did not last craft, 2022, and I had made 3 of them, and they were very popular at the craft fair. I think they all sold at the same craft fair, and I never got around to doing it again, so I decided to do another one. But it's all about the latte. Yeah, the ones that I did before were all done with latte, so yep. So again, using up yarn so I'm not left with, trying to not be left with scraps or leftovers, not partial skeins, but just those balls when you're done, like that. That's what I'm left with a lot of projects, so that's that. So I'm gonna pause and grab a couple more things. I'll be right back. And I'm just finishing up my afternoon cuppa, Earl Grey with homemade cashew milk. So anyway, like I said, I am, hi, it's Laurel again. It's the next day. And oh, I'm so wrinkled. Anyway, I'm doing this in parts, in clips, just so I don't overwhelm myself. So continuing some of the things that I've made. Amigurumi. Amigurumi and Make 9. Me again with the I had mentioned that did I mention it in the previous clip or my hop video? Either way, I'm doing the Make 9 with Kim, and I have an Amigurumi one and a shawl one. So I have done 3 of my 9 amigurumis, and I got so into working with the chenille or the bigger yarns for craft fair last year. Oh, sorry, you get the lighting. Lighting's always an issue, even though it's sunny and lovely outside, like having that translate inside. Anyway, I got used to working with the chenille yarns doubled up for the smaller ones, or, you know, the blanket type yarns. So my 4th amigurumi Make 9 that I'm doing is in worsted, and it's trudging along. So, but anyway, I've done 3 of them, and I'm doing either patterns that I've purchased or patterns that I've had in my library that I've wanted to do. I think all of them on my Make 9 amigurumi list are purchases. I'm pretty sure. There might be a free one. I don't remember. But the 3 that I did were the more recent purchases. This was one of the Kim enabled ones that the person was having the sale that I couldn't pass up. So it is from Toy Story Patterns AU. And I bought a bunch of them. Like I said, like $20 worth. What else? Yeah, the patterns were like $1 something or $2 something on sale. It's like a huge discount, because normally they're like $8, $7, $9. Oh wait, that's the Australian dollar. I think it's 1 for 1 US, I'm not sure. But anyway, the 3 that I've made, the first one I made, oop, I just dropped, which I'll pick up in a minute. But the first one I made, it's so, is it Toy Story AU? No, this one is from Tim Magic Ring, Tim Magic Ring. I bought 2 of her patterns. One is a golden retriever, a little potato golden retriever. It's like the paws down, lying forward, and then the cutest little fox. The fox showed up in an ad, actually, And it just kept popping up, and I kept being drawn to it. So I finally clicked on it, and then I went to purchase it. So it's made in worsted, and in the picture it's in her hand. It's like really small. But of course I used Chenille Home Slim, but it is so cute. It's cute, and I am going to make it in worsted because it's so cute. And it's white one in the picture, but oh my god, you ready? Isn't that flipping adorable? Ah, it is just, it's just, it was an easy enough pattern, you know, doing the pieces, but putting it together, for the way it looks, I think the directions could have been a little more forthcoming. But if you are an experienced amigurumi maker, and you could just look at the picture and just, you know, plus it doesn't always have to be exactly like the picture, even though most of the time that's what draws us in. And you're gonna hear life noises because Minion 2 is having his late lunch, life of a teenager, late teenager, almost adult lunch. But even though when we buy the patterns, it's what we see in the picture that draws us in, and we try to recreate that, don't be afraid to just make it your own. Me, it's with color. I look in my stash and I automatically picture what color I want something in. This, I just happened to have just bought this, and I'm like, oh, that's a nice soft color, because I didn't really want to do white. Plus I didn't have white chenille, and I didn't want to do it in worsted. So, but so can you just imagine that, like, sitting in your hand? That's what the picture is. But it's just, it's about, what, four times the size of what the picture? But it's just, I mean, come on, look at that. It is just, it's just too cute. Oh, I look like I am, oh, I thought I missed the line here. Like you can see here, but it just sunk in. Some of the perils, there you go. But it's there, but it's just, oh my gosh. It's just so flippin' cute, and I want to do it again. I'm gonna do it again, but I have so many things I want to make that, you know, this will have to do for now. Sticking with the pink, the other thing that I made, I thought I had shown this, but maybe not. But I had 2 skeins of this. I bought this at Walmart. It's like a super chunky, I think it's like a number 7, but I think they need another category, number 8. It's just, it's huge, the jumbo yarns. And I had 2 skeins. This is the 3rd time I bought this yarn to make, I made a jumbo octo out of it, and like 2 seasons ago, this girl bought it. It was like her 14th birthday or something, her 13th, 14th birthday, like around the corner, and she bought it, and you know, she was so happy. And they actually came back again last year at the craft fair, but so that was the first one that sold. And I think it was that same year in my December craft fair, this older teenager saw it, and she was walking around, she wanted it, and she left, and then her mom came back and actually bought it. She's like, do you still have it? And her mom bought it for her. So I still have all this to say, I had 2 skeins left of this jumbo yarn just sitting there, and I'm trying to really use things up and trying not to buy, even though I bought a few things, but not major stock up. This Big Twist Party, it's so pretty. And even the pink one, and I'm not a pink person, but I really like it because it's got yellow in there and blue speckles, and it's just really nice. And I actually want to knit a hat with this and latte together, so we'll see. But all this to say, the jumbo yarn, I used it up, and I made another jumbo octo. Now I'm trying to give perspective. This is about the normal size of my octo that I make. And this one I actually use pin cushions. You can't see it, but there are pin cushions in there. So it's been 2 years since I've really hit up my sewing machine, but I throw pin cushions in there. But that's the normal size. So compared to the jumbo, that's what it's like. Look at that. And it's so big, I didn't want to put safety eyes in there, so I just crocheted a black circle and put the highlights in. But yeah, that's how big it is. It's huge. So this is the third one, and I don't plan on buying this yarn again unless somebody, you know, happened to request it or something, but it's finally out of my stash. So anyway, so that was the fox. It was called Crochet Fox Pattern. That's all. By Tim Magic Crochet. So that was the fox. From Toy Story Pattern AU, I have a bunch, and I've done 2 so far. And again, another fox. The picture again in the ad drew me in. Man, it's just, I had like the perfect yarn. This is chenille home slim in some kind of rust color, but it's like a perfect fox color. But there it is. It's got the tail. Yep. So you could hold it like that. In the picture, I think she's holding it something like that, or like this. So it's really eye-catching. That's number 2, and I'm gonna pick up something. Number 3 is from Toy Story AU again, and this is it's supposed to be, it's a goose keychain pattern. It doesn't look small enough in the picture to be a keychain, but I'm sure if you make it in a smaller yarn. But again, sticking with the home slim, I think they're having a sale at the time because I was buying, I kept buying it. But the goose. And they are patterns, very similar ones out there, but again, because she was having that ridiculous sale, I do this. Like they're flying at you. But this is one in that pink one that the fox is in, and then some, you know, cranberry color for the beak. So there's that, and then I had the sage greeny color that I made 2 of those in there. One with the gold and one with that rust color for the beak. But yeah. So I made 3. I was just on a roll. Very quick enough to make. Did you have to crochet in the arms? I don't remember. I think you crochet in the arms as you go. Or did I sew them in? I'm pretty sure I crocheted them in. I don't know, but it was a quick make. So, and then the legs are like baubles. So, way easy. So that's my 3rd make 9 on my amigurumi. I'm working on the 4th, but yeah, it's worsted weight and it's taking quite a bit. So let me see if I have any other amigurumis available in the vicinity to show. I'll be right back. Okay, nope, I don't. I do have this, but it's a really old make. It's like 4 or 5 years old. I made it. It was part of a crochet along with what is her name? It's a Facebook group I am part of, but I haven't been active in it in a while, and they had annual crochet alongs. I even actually won twice. You would make an item, post a picture, and people would vote on it, and I won twice. Once I won a big a 10-pound box of stuffing, and another time I won a hank of yarn, hand-dyed yarn. So, but I haven't done anything in a while, but for that one, they had different designers, and every month or every couple weeks somebody posted a different pattern, and this was one of them. For the doll, it kind of sits flat, and of course I made mine in, you know, my skin tone or black skin tone. And then I used, instead of yarn, which whenever I do the hair on dolls, they tend to be so heavy. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, putting in too much yarn or using the wrong weight or what have you. But it's just so tedious having to put in so many strands. So I used the boa yarn. It's discontinued, but it's like those eyelash type of yarns. It was a Lion brand, I think, one, or a Bernat one. I may have one skein somewhere deep in the stash, or maybe partial, but it's just It's light and fluffy and just, you know, it just worked out. And she's got highlights because did I use 2 different colors? I don't remember. Yeah, I think I used 2 different colors, a black and a different color. But that's her. It's got to be at least 5 years old. It's just been sitting there. One of the reasons I didn't sell it is the neck. Stuffing the neck was really bad, and I ended up actually taking it apart, like undoing the neck, taking it apart, and I redid it because the neck was too long. And then I ended up putting, is it the pool noodle or a curler, a big curler in the neck, but it wasn't long enough because it stops right there and you can see where it bends. But it's just, she's just been sitting around. So, but the only other one that I had, Amigurumi, is around Thanksgiving. I like to make, well, I used to, I didn't really get a chance to this year, make, you know, from fall on, like holiday themed octos, and I made a turkey one that I posted, I think, on Thanksgiving. So, but it's just been sitting there for a while, and I always, no matter how many times I pin, I always sew it on crooked. But again, it gives a character, and this one just, because it was just stuffed somewhere, it's all bent. But that was the turkey octo. All right, the other part of Make 9 I mentioned are shawls. I'm going to show you this one because it's the most recent one that I finished. I'm almost finished with number 4. Yeah, but this was number 3. And again, it's shawls that I've purchased or I've had in my library for, oops, oh no. I've had in my library for quite a while that I've been meaning to do and haven't. So this one is called the, oh, what is it called? Hang on. Okay, it's called, you're gonna get shadow, but it's called the Hitching a Ride shawl, or just Hitchin a Ride, but it's a shawl by Sharon Cheek. She doesn't have an Instagram because I just posted it not long ago, but it's basically the crochet version when the hitchhiker became really popular. It's that type of yarn with the I've got yarn in my mouth. When the hitchhiker became famous, there were a few crochet versions put out there, and this is one of them. Now it calls for fingering weight, and you know me and skinny yarns is just, yeah, no. But I used, and plus no fingering. I've tried a couple of shawls with fingering, and it's just no, it's I'm just not there yet. But I have yarn that I've got on clearance over time that's just in the stash, so I'm determined to use this one up. And I think I have like four more skeins, but anyway, it's a number 5, and it's a acrylic alpaca mix, and it is Loops and Threads Waterford Big. It's discontinued, but it's a number 5, and I used 4 skeins. It is 240 something yards, 243 yards per skein, and I use 4 in 2 different colors, colorway licorice and colorway moss. So the moss, as you can see, you've got the green, and then the licorice is more like the brown tones, but there is still like hints of hold on, I want to make sure it's the right one. Yeah, the licorice has hints of brown, green in there, but even though it's a brown green mix, whereas this is the moss is a green blue mix. But as you can see, I went from licorice to the moss, and then I transitioned over a couple of lines, and then I transitioned over a couple lines back to the licorice and ended with the moss. So I think I ended with a little ball, and I decided not to put tassels on these, but this, because it called for fingering and I used number 5, it is like a weighted blanket. It is huge, as you can imagine, the fingering weight, you know, the size of a nice bandana type shawl, but this is massive. It is over 7 feet wide. I'm what, 5'6", and my wingspan, plus it's got this much and it's got this much, so it's, I think it's either just over 7 feet or just up to 7 feet wide, but it's huge. It's massive, and it's perfect blanket if you want your shawl to really feel like a shawl on you, like you want, you know, like you feel like you have something on and you want coverage. Yeah, it's, yep, it's done, and it'll be interesting to see if it sells at the craft fair. Like I said, it's, I'm pretty sure it's a hand wash because of the alpaca in there, but it's mostly I think it's 20% alpaca if I remember correctly. But yep, so another item on my to-do list gone, and my Make 9 complete. So that's that. Let me go pull out the other two that I've done for the Make 9 so far. So the first one, oh, I did forget an amigurumi. Was this from, I had leftover yarn from something, and I ended up using this. I think when I made one of those knit hats, the color hats, I had leftover, so this was leftover, and I made a little octo with the leftover. Again, trying to use up all the yarn and not have so much scraps. So the first of the shawls that I did, it was a purchase shawl, and let me go back to my projects. It was, I tried having notes, but this is off the cuff. It's the end of the day, work day, so I'm trying to catch the light and just record something. Okay, oh, I'm already at 20 something minutes. This is probably gonna cut off on me. This is the Orchid Path Shawl by Diem Connaughton. What is her, it's knit by Diem on Instagram, but it is a mosaic, it's a mix of just plain half double crochets, and I don't like you doing half double crochet shawls. I don't know what it is. It's not my favorite. I'm a double crochet girl. But I got to use Stash again. I used Queen's Yarn Boutique again, her yarn, a sport yarn. Again, I used small yarn in the colorway Superstar, which is all the colorway. Actually, I used two of them, Superstar and Kaleidoscope. So I used two colors, and I love color. Look at that. I don't remember which is which. I don't remember which is which. And then the plain yarn is Cascade Yarns Longwood Sport in Charcoal Heather. I wouldn't call it Charcoal Heather. It's more just a basic gray color. Yeah, it's just a basic gray, medium gray color. But so it's half double crochets, and then you go into the mosaic section, which if I could, and if I ever have the time, I would like to try to make a shawl just all out of this. But the thing with this, the mosaic piece, it, what would I say? The texture is so different. It's heavier, it's denser. I mean, the color play is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. And I'm not sure which colorway. I tend to gravitate towards this because this one pooled differently. This one was more variegated, and this one, you know, I think it might have striped if I was knitting it. Oh, 24, and it's, yep, it was warning me that it was about to shut off at 24. But like I was saying, denser. The colorway, I think it would have striped if you knitted like a hat or something, but these sing to me more, but they were both beautiful colors. But as I was saying, you know, double crochet. Even though they're both sport, the hand dyed was a little thinner, so you could definitely feel the lightness in this section opposed to this, you know, more big box. It is, I think it was merino wool. It's a little heavier kind of sport than the hand dyed one. So this is a little heavier. This feels definitely lighter, looser. But this section, even though it's absolutely gorgeous, I don't like the way it feels. It really hangs, it weighs down this section, and it would be lovely just to have a shawl all out of this, this part here. And I think just based on when this starts, I could probably do that, but this does take a while. Plus, this is half double crochet, and this section is all single crochets with, yep, and I would actually, if I were to do it, I would change this section to half double crochets, and the posts, I would make it double crochets. So it's single crochets with, is it a half double crochet front post? I don't remember. It might just be a single crochet front post, but again, oh yeah, and then look at the back. I'm like all over the place, huh? But the back is really stripy nice too. But yeah, because it's single crochet and the mosaic, it's dense, it's tighter. Even though I did try to stretch it when I blocked it, it's just, I don't like the feel of it in my hand. You can feel the difference over here opposed to here. That's just light and wispy. So, but overall, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous, and I will hopefully, for all the shawls, hopefully put in pictures so you have a better idea of what they look like. But yeah, I got to use stash, but hand-dyed stash especially. So that was number one, the Orchid Path, Orchid Path shawl by Diem. And then the next one is also a purchased, and it is, oh, maybe I will post these. Oh, battery's flashing, and I don't think I charged my other two. Maybe I will post these as separate videos. Parts 1, 2, 3, because these might be long. We'll see. Let's see if I can beat the camera and the battery, and if not, we'll see. Next one is a purchased one, and it is by Not Bad Brit. And this is the Autumn Waves shawl. It is a, what do you call it? A chevron-y kind of wave on the bias. And it took me a while to get the pattern down in my head, because I think it's like a 4 or 5 row repeat on the pattern, and it took me quite a while. But this was me using some, I showed the hat. This was where this came from, and this is the Lion brand Anya, which is discontinued. So I used 2 different colorways, as you can tell here. One here, one there. I did a whole skein of the first color, which is Mango Tango. Then I forget what this colorway was here, and then I kind of striped them with each repeat going from here to end it. I should have stopped with just 2 skeins. It's a little long, but it's a little long as a wrap, but as a, if you do it in half and then you do this, you can have that, like, you know, super scarf that's not very huge and bulky. So, and it will be warm even though it's meshy, because it's all merino wool. So again, I will post pictures. But so that's 3 of my Make 9, and I am almost done with number 4. And then I will give the shawl maybe a rest and get a couple of amigurumis done before I go back to it. But there you go. Before my battery shuts off on me, I am going to pull things together, and I may or may not be back for this clip.